This remarkable piece of work revolves around the story of Ford, when he is determined to avenge the person who trapped him in a drug deal and made him lose his girlfriend. Ford faces a lot of trouble to prove himself innocent and reunite with his girl. Who is Ford? Who traps him in the drug deal? What difficulties does he face to prove himself innocent? And how he gets his girl back? Let's get into the video to get the answers to all these questions. Hello, and welcome to I Am Movies. The movie opens with a biker named Ford racing with two cars and seems to be in a hurry. The cars try to stop him, but he overtakes them at high speed, which causes them to lose their balance. Ford arrives at a hotel where he meets a kid and requests that he keep an eye on his bike.
Keep an eye on it for me.
Ford enters the hotel and removes a picture from the wall, indicating when he was with his girlfriend. As he steps out of the hotel, the car drivers arrive to confront him, making them almost lose their cars. Ford suggests they leave, but when they hurt the kid looking after his bike, Ford loses his calm and easily overpowers the drivers. Ford makes them pay $10 to the kid and forces them to leave him alone. As the drivers leave, two other bikers, Val and Dalton, come there to see Ford. They appear to be Ford's friends and welcome him back, as he has been in Thailand for 6 months on the run from a case regarding drug dealing. Ford informs his friends that he is heading towards the rally.
I got a rally to get to.
And they insist on accompanying him on his mission when Ford requests them to stay out of his problem. They claim that he will need them, and Henry James, the head of a gang named Hellion, will not be happy to see him. Ford reveals he has been missing his girlfriend, Shane, and is here for her. The trio then continues their journey towards the rally, and while passing by a gang, the Reaper's bikes make the gang's leader's brother, Junior, fall from his bike. He follows Ford and his friends and tries to hurt them, but soon he finds a truck in front of him and falls. Dalton tries to beat Junior, but Ford stops him, and when Junior attempts to attack them with his knife, Ford disarms him. Soon, Junior's whole gang, led by his brother Trey, arrives and surrounds Ford and his friends. Trey talks to Ford and proclaims that he can easily kill him here.
I can smash you right now.
But he won't do this because he would like to solve their issue by handing over one of their bikes as a replacement for his brother's broken bike. Otherwise, they will be fed to his dog Jojo. Ford replies to him that it is that easy, and then suddenly the police appear there, due to which Trey has to let Ford and his friends go. After that, the trio arrives at the rally, and Ford orders his friends to show the people who the boss is and advises them to be gentle. Val enters the rally and impresses a girl. Meanwhile, Ford arrives at his girlfriend Shane's shop and talks to her. Shane recognizes him from his voice and sense of humor, but denies talking to him, as she thinks that he dumped her 6 months ago, and the police kept her under their observation. Ford tells her about the letters and calls, and Shane replies that the police are tapping her phone.
My phone was tapped for 6 months.
Ford is trying to convince her when Henry James arrives at the shop after getting information from his brother, Luther, about Ford's arrival at the rally. Henry talks to Ford and inquires about his bikes, but Ford is confident and replies that he doesn't need his bikes or what's inside them. Henry is confused by this, and Henry's girlfriend suggests cutting out the information from Ford. Ford replies that Henry is not that fool, as he won't be getting anything out of him. Henry attempts to threaten Ford, but Shane gives him a gun, and Ford makes him leave without any information about his bikes. Later that night, Henry meets Trey and tries to make a drug deal with him, but Trey refuses to supply his stuff to his people. Henry claims that he was here on behalf of Junior, as he promised them the deal, but Trey tells him that he is no one to decide, and Henry has to leave empty-handed. After Henry leaves, Junior gets mad at his brother's behavior, and Trey appoints 2 of his men to keep an eye on him.
Put Rashawn and no more on him.
Subsequently, Ford meets Shane when she is leaving for home. Ford tries to talk to her, but she challenges him for the race and tries to dodge him. Ford convinces her to have a beer by appearing in front of her, despite being left behind. The movie proceeds to the bar, where Junior is seen with 2 of Trey's men and looks unhappy. He enters the bar and accidentally engages in a small fight with Ford, who is with Shane. Ford hits him, and soon Trey finds them and takes Junior away. He tries to convince Junior to play his role and assures him that he will always have his back in everything. Junior gets sad and leaves, claiming that Trey is backing him. Henry and Leather observe this. Shane and Ford get to a secluded place, and when asked, Ford claims that it is his talent that he creates hell wherever he steps.
Yeah, that's a talent I have.
After that, Henry James finds a chance and creates a scenario of a fight in the bar, due to which Junior gets separated from his brother and enters the washroom to hide. Unfortunately, Luther, Henry, and his girlfriend find him. Henry is unhappy with Junior and proclaims that he has made promises based on his surety for convincing his brother to sign the deal, but now they are in trouble.
I've got a problem.
Junior tries to calm them, but Henry kills him using his bike chain. At the same time, Ford is with Shane and explains to her that every beautiful place he visited made him recall her. Then he informs her that he got trapped by Henry James and states that he did not like him much, but Henry was a good paying customer, and he fixed his helicopter a few times. Once, Henry gave him 2 bikes to take care of, but when he tried to start them, he found their tanks full of crystal meth.
They're filled with kilos of crystal meth.
He hid the bikes, due to which Officer McPherson raided Shane's shop, and he had to leave for her safety. Shane realizes her mistake of not believing in Ford and agrees to come with him to Mexico. Meanwhile, the police find Junior's dead body, and when Trey comes to see his brother, he learns that Henry's girlfriend has given Ford his disguise as the murderer and gets ready to find and kill him. Soon McPherson and CIA officer Henderson arrive at the crime scene, and from the witness's description, he learns that it's Ford again. Ford and his friends are at a hotel when the news of Junior's murder is published. Everyone at the hotel gets alert, and Henry contacts Ford and tells him that things are going to be worse for him as everyone thinks he has killed Junior.
Hell, everybody thinks you did it.
As the call ends, Hall and Murphy hold him at gunpoint. Ford snatches the gun, but another man, Earl, still gets him on target, and Shane saves him. Ford and his friends leave the place, asking Val's girlfriend to stay safe and meet them in LA. After Ford and his friends leave, the Reapers arrive at their location and get information about them. The Reapers start chasing them, and before they can catch Ford, he hides in a cave with his friends. Trey and his men lose them and leave to continue searching. Ford and his friends spend the night in the cave when Shane suggests he return the drugs to Henry and contact the police. Henry replies to her that drugs are his only insurance, otherwise Henry would have killed him. Dalton then recalls and claims that Henry would have killed Junior with his bike chain.
Henry used the chain off his own bike.
Ford thinks about everything and states that if they match the murder weapon with Henry's bike chain, they can call the police to arrest him. Henry goes to the phone booth and tells McPherson that Henry is trying to set him up. McPherson does not believe him, and Henry returns disappointed. After that, he tells his friends they are heading towards LA now and will use Palms to reach there. The next day, Trey also comprehends that Ford will go to LA after he learns about his location. McPherson also arrives at the phone booth and realizes that Ford will go to LA to confront Henry. Ford and his friends arrive near the Palms when Trey and his men spot them and follow them. Trey and his men try their best to shoot Ford and his friends, but Ford separates from his friends to distract Trey. In the end, only Trey and Ford left, and they reach the railway track where a train was passing. The duo gets on the train with their bikes, and Trey tries his best to kill them, but in vain. Eventually, Trey's bike gets punctured on the railway track and trapped there. Ford watches this and returns to save Trey. Ford gets every opportunity to kill Trey, but simply walks away from there, and Shane finds him. At night, Ford reunites with Val and Dalton, who inform him that the police have blocked the road to LA.
Every major road in LA is blocked.
And they will need a proper plan to get through. He calls Henry and invites him to meet him in LA. Ford spots a truck containing the racing car and claims he bought one. Ford and his friends get inside the truck, and when Ford and Shane are having a conversation, when the police stop their car at a checkpoint. Ford and his friends get scared, and before the police can check the truck, a police officer recognizes the driver and lets the truck go.
Let him through.
After a while, McPherson and Henderson arrive at the store in front of the fuel station, where Ford and his friends got inside the truck. They question the shopkeeper, and after getting no information, McPherson decides to check the CCTV footage. The next morning, McPherson and Henderson stop the truck, and before they can check it, Ford and his friends escape by getting inside the car and using their bikes. Shane and Ford are inside the car, and soon the Reapers will also arrive there and start chasing them. Ford feels uncomfortable handling the car, so he switches places with Val and leads Trey away from the car. McPherson and Henderson also try to chase Ford, but get into a horrible accident. On the other hand, Trey manages to make Ford fall from his bike, and the duo engages in a fight. After a tough fight, Ford takes Trey to his gunpoint and explains that Henry is trying to set him up after killing Junior.
I didn't kill Junior either.
When asked about the reason for believing in Ford, he makes him recall when he saved Trey and returned the gun, stating that he can kill him at any time if he finds him lying. Ford also adds that he is going to trap Henry and can accompany him on his mission. After that, Ford contacts McPherson and invites him to Shane's workshop, revealing that he will give him Henry's drug and Junior's murderer both at once. After the call ends, Ford shows the bikes and crystal meth to Trey, and the duo heads to Shane's workshop. Ford contacts Shane and tells her to be with Val and Dalton while Trey waits for Ford. Shane is at Val's place when a pizza delivery guy and Henry's men arrive. At the same time, someone knocks out all of Trey's men looking after the workshop. Trey is tired of waiting and gets mad, but Ford shows him Y2K, the fastest bike in the world.
Y2K, fastest bike in the world.
They are talking when McPherson and Henderson join them. McPherson takes their guns and shoots Henderson after confirming that Ford has Henry's bikes and crystal meth. McPherson is about to kill Ford when he asks him to confirm whether the meth is inside the bikes. As McPherson gets distracted, Ford takes out the controller and reveals that the bomb is wired, and if he tries to kill them, Ford will destroy the whole workshop. McPherson receives a call and reveals that he has partnered with Henry. Henry enters the building with Shane, Val, and Dalton as his hostages. Henry threatens Ford about what he will do with Shane when Henderson gets a chance and calls for backup. Everyone gets distracted by her, and Trey and Ford get a chance to attack. Val and Dalton also get free and fight Leather. Trey knocks out McPherson and most men using his bike, while Ford fights with Henry and sets Shane free. Ford gets the upper hand, but Henry leaves the building on his bike. Ford gets Y2K and follows him, while Shane gets into a fight with Henry's girlfriend. After a little struggle, Shane knocks her out and leaves. When McPherson regains his senses, Henderson gets mad at him and destroys the workshop using the explosives. Ford plants them and kills him while Val, Dalton, and Trey hide to survive the blast. Subsequently, Ford confronts Henry on the world's fastest bike and kills him by landing his bike on Henry's after a jump, destroying both bikes. Ford barely survives the accident and returns to his friends. He approaches Henderson and tries to reveal everything, but she already knows the truth. Ford then meets Trey and apologizes to him for his brother.
Sorry about your brother.
Trey thanks him and leaves, asking him to stay out of his area. Ford then meets Shane, who is sad about his destroyed workshop, but Ford kisses her, after which Ford and his friends leave for Mexico. And that's the end of this recap. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next one.